Alright, after a month and a half long hiatus, welcome back to another exciting episode. Caution may contain nerds. I'm your host, Ryan. How are you? So, it's been about a week since Otakon 2016 ended, and I want to kind of give my thoughts on it, both as a staff member and as a normal con goer. This year is the last year that Otakon is at Baltimore. Starting next year, moves up to DC or down. And overall, I think it was an alright year. It definitely wasn't the best year of Otakon, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. I want to kind of give you guys a quick rundown of what I do as a staff member at Otakon first, just so you can get an idea of how I judge a successful or fun Otakon compared to a standard con goer. My job there is, we're called access control. What that means is, besides the registration people, we're kind of the face of Otakon. You know, the staff members that you see wandering the hallways, kind of corralling you all into lines, making sure, following the normal, safety procedures of both Otakon, the convention center, and the city, really. The whole don't crowd into smaller hallways, don't block doors, stuff like that. We are usually the ones that con-goers seem to hate the most, just because even when we're being as nice as we can, because I don't want to say stress happens, but it does, and sometimes even when we're saying things nicely, it can sound like we're being a dick. But whenever we're trying to move people along, tell them, hey, you can't stay right here, people just kind of seem to hate us, and we've kind of learned to accept that. My team, we work on the west side of the Baltimore Convention Center, usually, or actually always. That means the dealer's room line, so you can there's 10 or 12 people that you see at the beginning of the dealer's room line, if you're one of those people that get there at 8:30 in the morning because you have to be the first one in line. We're those guys. And you can tell that we take our job seriously, but we just goof off most of the time. I'll wander the stanchions on that first part of the dealer's room line and just talk to people, BS, see what everyone's doing. But then when we get to the second floor where that line just kind of wraps around like half the convention center, it's usually my duty to tell people, hey, you can't chill just outside of the line. Like when we have that sign that says, this is the end of the line, no more people is there, the line is closed. Yet people decide, hey, I'm going to just wait around right here anyway. It's always a safety hazard and a fire hazard, so whenever you hear that one person yelling really loudly, you need to move, you cannot stay here, if you're not taking photos, get the F out, that's usually me. And I try not to say it in a dickish tone, but if any of you that are listening heard me over the weekend at Otakon and you thought I was being a dick, I apologize. But I shall say, as our staff member, as our team, we enjoy what we do. We don't take ourselves seriously enough that we get stressed out like some of the other staff members do. On Saturday, I spent half my day staffing in a bath towel, because that was my quote-unquote dollar store cosplay. But, yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that, just so you can get an idea of what I do there at the convention center with Otakon. So for me, a successful weekend is if con-goers just aren't being dicks back to us. We ask you to move, or you can't block something. It's great when people are like, hey, yeah, no problem. Sorry we did this. Thanks, just, you're happy, I'm happy, we're all happy. Baltimore City doesn't have to yell at us. So, that said, as a whole, I thought this year worked a lot better as a staff member. There seem to be less people at the convention center this year, so kind of corralling everyone, making sure no one's doing anything unsafe, no one's running through the hallways. It made it a lot easier, which means I was able to enjoy myself more and talk to people more often. I did have a Fitbit on while I was working those Friday and Saturday. Between the amount of walking back and forth from my hotel, walking around as a staff member, clocked in at about 16 miles on Friday and about 14 on Saturday, because I did spend some more time just lounging. But it was fun. I like the people I work with there. Since we work on the west side, whenever we have like a team meeting or meeting with all of the convention, to be like, oh, this is so-and-so, they're in charge of the west side. You'll hear at least 4 or 5 people on our team just go, west side, best side, woo! Because we're dorks. We get it. Now for Otakon itself, because I staffed, I didn't really get that much time to go to many panels. I did peer into some of them that I was, watching the doors for. I got to see what some of you guys build the steampunk goggles on Saturday. That's kind of interesting to watch and take a look at. Some of the video panels that were happening on the that 400 level of the convention center, some of those main ones. I would peer in and out of those when I was working up there just to see what was playing. I really wish I had a chance to go to the Voice Actors After Dark. I usually do that every year, but this year it was on Friday, and just after a week's worth of work, and then the 16 miles I walked around that day, after my shift was over, I went to bed. By bed, I mean I drank profusely in my hotel room with my friends, then went to bed. My roommates, and really the other guys that are part of this podcast, Sarah, Wes, Lou, Sean, on Saturday they all went to a comedic look at people's fetishes. It was called the Tentacle Revenge, something like that. We went to it last year as well, and it was very enjoyable. I had fallen asleep before they all went out to go see the panel. So it was an 18+ panel. At the end of the day, I went back to the hotel room, go shower, laid down for a couple minutes, and I was out. I was woken up at around 1 o'clock in the morning to them coming back from the bar, laughing hysterically. I was like, fuck, I missed it. I haven't heard too many complaints, at least on the Otakon message boards or anything, that the panels weren't unenjoyable, So I'm assuming the people that actually got to go to the panels, got to see what they wanted to see, that they enjoyed themselves, the panels were fun. I just wouldn't know. I just didn't get the chance to do that this year. I'm a little depressed about that. This year, especially with the convention, I actually asked to have a little bit more time off each day in hopes of being able to hit up the panels. I was just too exhausted to actually hit them up. I had more fun just walking around as a staff member, just talking to random con-goers. That's usually the highlight of my weekend each year. Just seeing what you guys are into, what everyone's doing. Most of the anime that's happening, I don't follow it. I watch a couple here and there. If something looks interesting on Netflix that's in the anime section, I'll turn it on. I have a Crunchyroll account just so I could stay up to date on Fairy Tail, because I like that. So every year I'll just talk to people like, hey, what animes are you guys watching? What video panels? It's like, hey, why are you guys so interested in this, etc. And people give varied results of answers. You definitely do get the stereotypical pervy nerd that's like, well, because this woman is, very attractive. She has a really big bust. I'm like, I don't need to hear all that, dude. Just say it's enjoyable. you know? Um, every year, though, I will say there's always that one con goer that, without fail, seems to talk to me while I'm in my staff shirt. And he's one of those, that's always one of those nerds that are very socially awkward, apologize like every 5 seconds when they're trying to say anything. Like, man, I'm here at Otakon too. Like, I'm not going to judge you for anything that you're, for your social awkwardness. Like, just, if you want to hold a conversation, hold a conversation. Don't do the whole, well, see, I wanted to ask you this. I'm sorry for bothering you, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. I just, no, dude, just talk. We're all at an anime and Japanese related convention. I am on the same wavelength as you. Let's do this, dude. Just talk. Now, that kind of goes into the next one of what I want to mention with the kind of like the vibe of the con goers. One thing I did get a chance to do was actually go into the game room for probably about an hour on Saturday before I went to go shower and all that and fell asleep. At least in the game room, there was a big sense of camaraderie there. No one was hogging up systems or hogging up games. As much as I would like to still say I'm good at it, my fat ass is out of shape and cannot play DDR as well as I used to. And even the people like standing in line, they're like, everyone made nice with each other. Like, hey, we didn't. If someone accidentally cut in front of you, they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. They'd jump back behind you. They'd offer like, hey, do you mind if I play with you? So you don't, so you weren't waiting there for 45 minutes just to play one or two songs. And then even when I purposely played the DDR Extreme because I wanted to play Cartoon Heroes, me being fat and out of shape and not in my high school years anymore, I failed it. And even then people were like, hey, it happens, man, it's a hard song. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I used to be good at this, fuck. And then walking around the hallways itself, a lot of people were just standing around talking, having fun. I did hear a few people, passing by complaining, saying, this is bullshit, why should I have to do this, why should I have to do that? And a lot of times when I'm actually hearing people complain, can be considered half their fault, half the staffers' faults. Because we had the guidelines and like, hey, this is what you're allowed to wear, this is what you're not. These are the type of props you can have, blah, blah, blah. And without fail, we always had that one person that just doesn't read the handbook and goes, hey, I have an airsoft gun, this goes with my costume, I'm going to bring it in. No, that is still a weapon. That's an actual weapon. You can't bring that in. The guns can't have any movable parts for the props. And those are the ones that usually give us the most hassle. I've heard a couple people complaining about that as I was walking around, just as not in my staff shirt, just people complaining, going, "What? I was allowed to bring so and so last year. Like, this is bullshit. Why are they singling me out? Like, just follow the rules, dude." I'm pretty sure the staff member, he probably was a dick about it. You never know. From I hear it more often than not that we are, but it's some of it's on you too. I did see a few issues of the women that dress in the sexy or very revealing outfits. There was a couple things I saw where you can clearly tell that the people that are trying to take pictures are being a little bit harassy, little bit of this isn't acceptable, man. You need to leave the girl alone. But for the most part, everyone stayed respectful towards each other. I did see one girl just not lay into a dude, like not physically, but when dude was definitely being a creeper to this woman, just in some anime, I don't know. but he was being super creeper, and she called him out on all of it, and I guess once she called him out, he got like that socially awkward nervousness. It was kind of funny to watch. Thankfully, nothing went into the realm where, you know, a staff member or just a random bystander would have to be like intervene and go, "Hey, dude, you need to quit this shit before you get all rapey." So that's always a good thing. So it's a successful year on that part, I think. It sucks that there will always be those creepers, and sadly, I think it comes with the territory of just nerds. There's always going to be the creepers. As much as we try to not really fix, but preach about, you know, equality and, you know, just because they're dressed up in a sexy outfit doesn't mean that they're giving you their consent to be some pervy ass dudes. Sadly, it happens. Like I said, I'm just thankful I didn't see it too much this year, and nothing that, you know, I had to step in and be like, "You need to quit this shit, son." So that's always a plus. I will say this year, it seemed like a lot smaller of a convention as a whole. Like, there didn't seem to be as many con-goers. I know a lot of people these days hate Otakon, or Otacorp, really, because they can suck. I admit it. But I have nothing to do with that. Sorry. And the convention has been on a little smaller decline. You know, I know the pricing of it all, the overall response that people have about some of the staff members. It just leads up to bad times. I'm hoping it'll. Actually, I liked how small it was this year, like, comparatively. It didn't seem like there was 40, 50,000 people there. Even though I know it caps out at 35, it always seems like there's more. Because there seemed to be less people, it made just traversing the convention center, both as a staff member and as a con-goer, a lot easier. Didn't feel like I was bumping into someone every 5 minutes. I didn't have to worry about, you know, someone coming by and try to, like, swipe something out of my bag. It's just because we're being brushed up against each other. It felt a lot better. I really actually hope that the amount of people that were there this year, we have around the same next year when we go to DC. That way, since DC's convention center is a whole lot bigger, if we can have that bigger space but the same amount of people, it might feel empty, but I feel like it'll be a lot better. Both on my end, and I know a lot of people will agree with me on the whole, I don't want to be brushed up against people. And then you got all the people that are socially awkward. You get too many people together, they just, you know, kind of shut down. I've been wanting to bring my daughter to the convention because she's still too young to actually know what's going on. I mean, she's 4 now, but she's not really into cartoon stuff too much, or animes. But I think she would enjoy seeing, you know, the people dressed up and all that. But the problem is, she doesn't handle people too well. So I feel like if we had the same amount of people, but in that bigger space, I'll be able to bring her along, and she won't get overwhelmed as quickly. I'm hoping that will be the case for next year, so I can, you know, take her to it for one of the days. Since she's still young enough, it's still free for her, so I don't have to worry about dropping $80, $100 for someone that might not enjoy herself at all. I also say that there's smaller feeling attendance just made the lines more manageable. I know people joke around saying Otakon is line con. It made the lines seem a lot smaller. I didn't hear as many people complaining about, you know, it being line con. Because even when there were larger lines, mainly for like the 18 plus wristbands or some of the bigger events, once we got the lines moving, they were rolling. Like, people weren't, you know, taking their sweet time. They weren't, you know, blocking up hallways. They were on a roll, and I loved it. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed the convention this year. It was a lot more fun. as a staff member and as a con goer. Granted, I didn't get to do as much as a normal con goer would be able to do, but it was enjoyable for me. When it goes to DC next year, I'm still deciding whether or not I'm going to stay as a volunteer staff member. I've been doing the access control staffing since 2009, and as much as I complain about it to my friends and all that, like as to how tired I am or how I don't get to see them too often at the convention, I still enjoy it thoroughly. That not having to pay for a badge is amazing. I don't know how you guys pay $100 to go to this. Kudos to you, though. So, I will be in attendance next year for the DC convention. Whether or not it's as a staff member, I won't know. I am going to try to do... I actually want to do a panel there, since I've been trying to get up to date and actually doing these podcasts more often. We've actually decided that we're going to do, or we applied to do one for Katsucon in February. We're going to try to do a live podcast, and if it works out well enough there, let's say if we get approved and it goes well, I'm going to try to apply to do a live podcast at Otakon next year as well, because I think it would be fun. It's why not, right? Why not give it a whirl? So, that being said, I'm sorry that it's been about a month and a half since I've put out a podcast. I've been doing a lot of streaming on Twitch lately, so all of you that do follow on Facebook or follow the podcast at all, if you go to our Twitch page, which is just twitch.tv/CautionNerds, I'm usually on there twice a week at minimum, streaming whatever games I'm playing at the time. Lately it's been the new Hitman. And then on Thursdays, I do live D&D with another group called Unmade Gaming. I've brought them up before. They're kind of my cohorts that aren't my cohorts. The dude that runs that, Michael Hunt, he's still helped me out with a lot of this. He's been helping me get my feet on solid ground when it comes to the Twitch game. So yeah, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on Otakon and on the podcast in general. Tell me what you guys think about everything. Like this podcast if you hit that little like button if you actually did enjoy it, and subscribe to it, since I do usually post these on YouTube. There is a nice little subscribe button down there. It'll be awesome if I get some more of you guys. But that's all. I hope to see you guys again in about a week or two with another podcast, and I'll see you guys next time.